All right, the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies and the Hall of Fame game is in the books. So it is time for the full-on first preseason edition of Overreaction Monday. Rich Eisen, Chris Brockman.
Hey, buddy.
Fresh back. Well, not so fresh, but back from Canton, Ohio. How are you, Christopher?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Great job. The stuff was so awesome this weekend.
It was fun.
Love to see the speeches. Everyone did such a fantastic job. It was a great weekend.
It was fun.
We're back.
And who knew Adam Vinatieri with the first ever 2-drink minimum speech?
I mean, I heard all that.
I mean, that was...
he was going for
something.
it.
Yeah. Belichick got some.
Yeah, it was...
Chris Carter got some from Larry, but from
unexpected.
Vinatieri, Brady got some.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we learned how his wife used to be part of his off-season snapping and things of that nature.
Okay.
So he got that going for us, which is nice. All right. So we learned stuff over the weekend. It's time for Overreaction Monday. Hit it. Go for it.
That was terrible.
That was crap. That was garbage. This place sucks.
Overreaction Monday.
All right, Christopher, what do you have over there?
Hey, I want to start with a couple of Canton items, Rich, before we get going for the rest of Around the League.
Yes.
Impressive Hall of Fame class, absolute bona fide superstars, Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, Luke Kuechly, Adam Vinatieri, Roger Craig. And while that was all impressive, not having Bill Belichick there is still a gigantic miss.
Of course it is. I mean, there's just no question about it. I even said it on the broadcast, the first ever ESPN NFL Network simulcast. The event ended at about 5-3. I mean, if you wanted to spend another 15, 20 minutes, Bill, we could have fit in a Belichick speech.
Sure could have.
Could have also fit in a Bob Kraft speech.
Yep.
Could also had as many Patriot fans there as Saints fans. Looked around Tom Benson Stadium. There were still a lot of seats. Could have filled some.
Yep.
And the way that I equated this, very similar to my connection from Chicago to Canton. The plane left with some empty seats on it.
Interesting.
As I showed up to the gate 2 minutes after the plane pushed back with 5 other individuals from the Los Angeles leg that watched the Canton plane just push back.
You're just like, really?
Belichick stood there watching the Canton plane push back from the voters because there were still some seats that could have been filled on that podium. It was just 5 people. That's it. And it just makes no sense to me in this day and age that every Canton class isn't filled to capacity. You can still vote more than 5 people in. It just didn't happen for, as you know, various reasons. Mm-hmm. And it would have been more attended if that's what you're looking for. There would have been more buzz, which is what you're looking for. And it also would have been appropriate that Bill Belichick is a first ballot Hall of Fame
deserving
coach. And when he doesn't go in, then somebody like Mike Shanahan's watching the plane push back and Holmgren's watching the plane push back without all seats being filled up.
Yeah, there's a trickle-down ripple effect.
And then next year, when Belichick should go in, that'll be another year that a coach is going to be waiting. So when there's no seats filled in a Hall of Fame class plane pushing back from the gate, it's a shame.
Yeah.
And it's infuriating, which, by the way, it was for me going to Canton.
And seeing the plane
and seeing the plane push back with empty seats on it.
Yeah.
And so we would have been there an extra 15, 20 minutes. If it was Robert Kraft there as well, we would have been there another 45 minutes. And weather was going to hold up. We would have been there. And it would have been something else. It was, but the issue with saying all this is it sounds like we're taking away with what happened. And it was still a moving ceremony. Drew Brees telling a story about how he was in a meeting with the Chargers coaching staff talking about him not being able to see his receivers because of his height. And he was called out for not seeing his receivers. And he told his coaches, well, I can't see the receivers. And the coaches look back and say, it's your job to do that. It kind of dawned on him having an epiphany that that's an excuse and he shouldn't use that anymore. Yeah. And now look at him. Larry Fitzgerald, former ball boy to the Minnesota Vikings, courtesy of his father was a beat writer for the team growing up, and he's getting the jacket put on him Friday night by Chris Carter, who he was the ball boy for.
Really cool.
2 first-ballot Hall of Famers, a guy in Roger Craig who waited 28 years and then used his speech to also inform everybody he's got early onset dementia, and that is something he doesn't want to define him, but he also wants to have his story utilized for people to get themselves checked out. Luke Kuechly, on the other hand, a 35-year-old, only the second youngest inductee, only Gale Sayers younger to be inducted, and then Adam Vinatieri, who was the all-time points leader. It was a deep roster, but having the all-time great coach in Belichick was a miss, and Robert Kraft could have been there too. So not an overreaction. You knew where I was going to go with that one.
I did. I set you up for that, Rich.
What else?
We're teammates. Let's talk about the game a little bit from last week. We talked about it a little bit on Friday, but I want to bring it here. You look at this rookie quarterback class.
Mm-hmm.
Carson Beck is starting to establish himself, and I think he's going to be the first rookie to start a game this year.
Well, I don't think Fernando Mendoza is going to start a game in September or October unless there's an injury. Obviously, let's just throw injuries out.
Injuries
You're talking about just natural progression.
Yeah, of course.
And the fact that Tyler Shuck started last year midseason in a way that we didn't see going into the season.
Yep.
So he could be sort of a Tyler Shuck type addition here. Ty Simpson clearly is not going to start for the Rams. So who else would there possibly be?
Drew Allers looked good at Steelers camp.
But I don't think the quarterback class was so deep that, again, let's throwing injury out the door.
Right.
I don't think this is an overreaction.
Cade Klubnik at the Jets.
I just don't think this is – he's let's put it this way. He is set up to start first out of the rookie class because the quarterbacks chosen in front of him, one has got Kirk Cousins sitting there for a reason. And then you've also got, so Mendoza could marinate, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ty Simpson's just not starting. So, yeah, I don't think this is an overreaction that you have to sit there and think with a new coach and Mike LaFleur. And if Jacoby Brissett doesn't add a little extra oomph from even last year's performance where, it felt something going on behind the scenes was this is it for Kyler Murray around here. We're done.
Right.
Even though we're assuming that the injury reason given is not the reason why he was sitting, I don't think this is an overreaction. Okay. And it'll be exciting to see.
It will.
It'll be exciting to see because the weaponry is there, which it would be for Brissett as well. I just don't know if the new coach there is going to be, or the front office with the new coach is going to be like, let's see what we have in Carson Beck. And that's going to be for a lot of teams this year is what do we see in who we have now. Let's see it now because this upcoming draft class is chock full of prospects.
We expect.
Correct. But if Beck hits in Arizona, then you don't have to use your draft capital on a quarterback next year, which is also a benefit.
Especially after you spent the third pick on a running back.
Correct, sir. What else you got?
Rich, now we're getting to the point where preseason games are hitting this week.
Yes, sir.
We're reading headlines. We're looking at vibes, videos on social media. And I think we're starting to establish who's going to be top-tier Super Bowl contenders.
Okay.
And I'm kind of with the coach on this one, Liam Cohen. We should be talking about Jacksonville as Super Bowl contenders.
Well, last year they won their division but lost to a perennial Super Bowl contender. So we are left with saying, good job. You look good. But when it all came down to it,
not ready.
You didn't win at home against the Buffalo Bills, who going into the playoffs, a lot of people thought were less than their usual full strength. Bills are going to win the Super Bowl type team. And they couldn't do it. And now one of their main engines on the offense left by a free agency in Travis Etienne. And now it's Bashul Tutin's time to show that he can be a full-time bell cow like Travis Etienne's caliber running back. Brian Thomas, we're waiting to see him take a step up from his first year. Travis Hunter, how significant will he be in what we assume is a one side of the football role? And And last year's defense was so opportunistic. It was superb in that respect. Can they do it again? I'm just giving you all of the reasons why folks aren't talking about it on top of what everyone in Duval County would point out as the obvious, which is nobody pays attention to the AFC South and then Jacksonville in particular.
Sure.
They have a lot going for them, but I understand why they're not being talked about as Super Bowl contenders outside of the fact that they're in Duval County and everybody there counts that as the reason why it's counted against them.
Right.
So I'm just trying to reasonably lay it all out there and hope the backlash isn't strong from a fan base that I always hear from on a draft coverage whenever we go to break when they're on the clock, as if it's my doing and fault.
That's right.
I have nothing to do with that.
You're pushing those buttons.
So that's why we're not talking about him. We kind of need to see him do it again. They 100% have the roster and coaching staff to do it again, but we need to see it. I think we really need to see it coming into the season.
You know, the Trevor Lawrence everyone was expecting, first overall, coming out of college. We saw that last year. Fantasy-wise, he was top 5 quarterback last year. Now you got year 2 and Liam Cohen, this great offensive system, great offensive mind. You saw what he did for Baker Mayfield. And, sky's the limit. I'm buying. I did go higher register.
You just did,
but they are a higher registered Super Bowl contender that I think we need to start talking about.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. And Jacksonville's schedule that we have right here, they're first up home for Cleveland. So
take care of business.
Well, I mean, listen, we don't know who Cleveland's going to be yet. We're all assuming, but they can come down and hit you in the mouth. That's a winnable game. You have to win an AFC game against an opponent
home opener
that was, top 10 in the draft last year at home. You got to do that. Certainly they go to Denver and you could sit there and say, well, that's a tough game, but they went into Denver last year and hit the Broncos in the mouth in their ascendance to winning the division. They're home for New England. That's going to be another one that's a measuring stick game. Go ahead and win that. And at Cincinnati, which I've already told you is my number one sleeper team this year, and you could laugh all you want about a sleeper team having one of the best quarterback wide receiver combinations in the league over the last few years, if not coming into this year. But I don't think people are thinking the Bengals are going to make it back to the Super Bowl, and I think that could be potentially happening before they've got 2 games in London, one against Philadelphia, and then they have that benefit of having already been in London for Houston to come in for a huge division game before there's a bye and another division game against Indianapolis after.
Games,
but those are games that they're filled with teams that they have to go ahead and beat if they're going to be Super Bowl contenders.
Exactly.
Because these are Super Bowl contending teams coming into their house, and they're also divisional games and also conference games that they're going to have as a tiebreaker in their back pocket to put on the table in January and say the path to the Super Bowl goes through Duval, as many Super Bowl contenders need to go through their home, have the path go through their home to win your conference. So there's a lot of reasons why there's hedging. But
Understood.
You're right. So I'll call this an overreaction to say I understand why folks need to see it again, but it's not because they're in little old Jacksonville. I'm sorry. Like, if this was a team anywhere else, we'd still be talking about, okay, your first overall draft choice several years in. Now it's going to start the extension with the $50 million plus. His one playoff win is still the game where he threw so many interceptions in the first half. We're wondering if Doug Peterson was going to bench him.
Right.
That's his only playoff win so far. So we need to see that again. And then the changes that happened, we need to see what they can do. It has nothing to do with where they play for me. What else you got?
Fair. Okay, Rich, getting close to rubber meets road on this topic, and it feels like this could be the week. But if Aaron Donald doesn't come back, I think we've been talking about this for weeks now under the assumption that he is. What if he goes through the workouts, gets the speed coach, and says, I can't get to the gear I want? If that's the case, the Rams are not the favorites to win the NFC.
Dude, we've already forgotten Myles Garrett's there and Trent McDuffie on the back end. Like, he's the reason why the Rams were already favored to win the NFC the minute Myles Garrett came. The Rams became the surefire, seal the compartments, it's over NFC favorites. The minute that
didn't win the
Aaron
division
Donald,
last year.
I know.
Super Bowl champs
okay.
in their division as well.
Right. And
just forgetting about
the
that.
margin of error on that and how different it could have been was so slim. So, yeah, I mean, we're forgetting all the other changes that were made and the other additions that they received.
Other teams got better too.
I understand that, but the minute Garrett showed up, it was okay. The Rams are the favorites to win the NFC, and then the conversation was Donald may come out of retirement because Garrett's shown up, and then it's just like, okay, they're going to go 17-0. Who's going to beat them at all? So that said, I just spent a minute entertaining the idea that he's not coming back. Did you see the video over the weekend of him working out?
I did. He was doing some ladder drill. I saw. Yeah, I saw it. I saw it.
Did it look to you like the speed coach?
I mean,
has
sure.
done his or her job?
I get it.
I don't know who the speed coach is, but I don't. Does it look like he needs a speed coach?
There's no.
Did it look like he was actually faster than Braden Fisk with his footwork and Josiah Stewart?
No pads
who are
on.
Younger than him?
No pad. I'm just providing a little bit of pushback because for a month,
I got it.
It's been.
I understand.
He's coming back. It's all the assumption. The Rams are doing this, doing that. But what if he gets out there, gets the pads on, starts hitting, and is like, I don't want to do this.
It's entirely possible. We have no idea.
Okay.
But the fact is, if he says thanks but no thanks, gave it a whirl, just don't have it either in me, or I don't want to see if it's in me, or any of that. Whatever the reason is, we're just like, it's all about the want to. I tried. I went in there. I went to the depths. No, I don't have enough.
I'm not at 100%.
Right. Or I just know that it's just not there. And I just got to get right into it. I used to love football more, but I love being a dad and a husband 24/7, 365 more.
Couch is great. I can watch the games.
I don't think I was going to say the couch is great.
Okay. Well,
he's, by the way, the fittest couch potato I've ever seen.
That's in fact.
You know? So he could do that. And if he does that, then there's still Myles Garrett and the rest of that defense.
I got
with Trent McDuffie. They added Trent McDuffie on the back end to the point where we don't talk about it because Myles Garrett showed up. And who they chose in the first round with the pick that they got from Atlanta. That's totally blown off the fact that they got Trent McDuffie for the back end. Overreaction, pal. What else?
All right. Passionate Rams fan.
Okay.
Now that they're
good one.
Now that their contracts are done, both Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yes.
Top 5 MVP incoming.
For both?
For both.
Yeah, that's
2 running backs in the top 5.
Okay.
Record-breaking seasons.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right. Okay. So that means only 3 quarterbacks are finalists for the MVP.
Oh, maybe Myles Garrett has 30 sacks and he's in there.
Okay. So you're saying it'll be two running backs and a defensive player.
This is
for
the year that these guys finally get their recognition. Look, we all know Christian McCaffrey should have won an MVP. Saquon Barkley should have won an MVP.
Right.
Maybe Derrick Henry in there as well. But this is the year. These guys are going to break through. They got their new deals.
Yes.
All that pressure is off. They're in an offense where they are the bell cow. We've heard their coaches say they will get the ball.
Is this because
one of these guys might even set the scrimmage record this year?
Is this because you got the 2nd overall pick in our best ball league?
And I have
and you got Gibbs because TJ took Bijan and you're trying to talk your way in? And my guy's still gonna be the MVP, even though Bijan I love and I know he's gonna be amazing. Is that what this is born out of? You're trying to talk yourself into feeling good about your best ball fantasy
generational
team?
Backs.
I got it, but there's just not going to be 2 running backs finalists for the MVP, and you and I both know it.
Why not?
Because it's the most valuable quarterback award, and we'll give a nod to a running back and say you're also an MVP finalist before you win the Offensive Player of the Year award.
What if each of these guys have 1,800 rush yards and 20-plus touchdowns with 75 catches? They're not going to be top 5 MVP?
Okay. I see what you're saying. No.
Wow.
Because there's going to be enough quarterback play.
Is there?
Yeah.
Passing yards and passing touchdowns have gone down the last few seasons.
Okay. So you think this is all going to add up to 3 quarterbacks and 2 running backs for the MVP award?
That's what I'm saying.
The MVP
I'm putting
award,
my stamp on it
the MVP award will have a 2/5 chance
of being a running back.
Finally. I just don't see it. I don't see it.
Is
I see
it- hold
Josh Allen having a Josh Allen year. See, I'm going to start going to the quarterbacks. I see Burrow having a massive year. I see
We all
Mahomes
see that.
coming back and having a year that
They
nobody
can't
saw
all do it.
coming.
They can't all do it.
I understand that. I think Lamar is going to have a superb year with the new offensive coordinator and Declan Doyle from the Ben Johnson world. You know, you're talking about Caleb Williams having a massive step forward. Dak could throw for a gajillion yards.
But
I
those
just
guys
gave
are
you
going to
all
have
of those.
they're going to have better
Justin
seasons than these two
Herbert
running backs.
in the new Mike McDaniel coordinated offense. I just gave you a handful of the last year's MVP. Your kid and Drake May after last year's near miss.
I hear a regression
with
for
AJ
everybody.
Brown.
I don't know.
No. Okay, you could again use this segment for your own mental health from your fantasy team to your actual
It's
team.
not. I'm just
okay, I
telling
understand
you.
that.
These guys are fantastic backs.
But if those quarterbacks have their usual type year,
Mm-hmm.
I understand the underlying point of this topic is that these two running backs are going to have big years, and I hope it's the case for those who ever have them in fantasy or for the Falcons and the Lions respectively. But at the end of the day, the MVP is the best quarterback award.
Do you think Adrian Peterson sits around and pops champagne like the 72
Understood.
Dolphins?
I see what you are saying. Overreaction is my general sense here.
All right, last year, a wide receiver won Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Teteroa McMillan.
Yeah,
Yes.
he fought off a late charging Tyler Shuck.
Indeed, sir.
I think a wide receiver is going to do it again. Second year in a row, wide out, Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Name your with Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love being the first round drafted running backs.
Yeah, those are the big running
Understood.
backs, and
Right.
obviously you got some of the quarterbacks. Whether maybe Beck has a Shuck-like season, or Fernando Mendoza
I
could stay
doubt it.
half the year.
I doubt it.
I think it's going to be I love what I've been seeing out of Carnell Tate. Obviously, some Jordan Tyson clips over the weekend.
Yeah.
Had you kind of raise a few eyebrows. What about Stribling out there in San Francisco? Because Mike Evans is already missing time in the preseason. Debo Samuel's back, but we don't know how he's
Sure.
gonna,
There's
So-
Mekhi Lemon. There's
Mekhi
a whole
Lemon.
bunch of
Right.
Yeah.
I'm putting my thumb on a wide receiver, and I'm going to call it. It's Carnell Tate.
I'm okay. I appreciate you calling it. I mean, I don't think there's any overreaction on this front. I think we just talked it out that it would be a significant run from a rookie quarterback we don't see coming, sitting here on the Monday before week one preseason in full bloom. And the running backs, Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, are the only first round ones taken. So could there be somebody from a Friday or a Saturday draft position coming to the fore? Sure.
Never know.
Don't see, any of the tight ends potentially having a Brock Bowers type season where you've got to throw them into the mix. Everything I just said is possible, but from the wide receiver class, which again was very deep, I'll go with you on this one. I don't think this is an overreaction either.
Do you think any of those guys have a better season than McMillan did last year?
McMillan had, and I know this because I drafted him in the best ball.
I know you did.
And I've just decided, I'm going to try and take as many 1,000-yard wide receivers. There were 20 some of them last year, and hope for any improvement. Suddenly got a 1,000-yard wide receiver. He had just a titch above 1,000 yards and about 7 touchdowns. So that's basically, unless again it's Brock Bowers having 120 something catches or Puka Nacua at 1,400 yards in his rookie season.
Right.
Those are kind of an outlier. So I'll say it'll be right around the numbers that McMillan hit last year, and and he had his quarterback was Bryce Young, who was ascendant, deep into his contract now as a first time quarterback in the NFL. I mean, he's obviously far from a rookie now. So, having a rookie matched up with potentially a significantly more decorated and veteran quarterback than Bryce Young would give a leg up potentially. I mean, his Puka had Matthew Stafford throwing to him.
Man,
so
we could all be so lucky.
Right. But Brock Bowers had a whole rotation of quarterbacks throwing his way.
Yeah.
What else?
Two more, Rich, and we'll get
Right.
on with everyone's Monday here.
Yes.
I think these quarterback competitions are getting interesting.
Okay.
Now that we're, like you said, we're getting ready for week 1 preseason. We're going to see these battles really play out on the actual game field and not
Yes.
just, in practice with clips we're seeing on social media. But I still think something unexpected is going to happen in one of these quarterback competitions. You're hearing that maybe it's Deshaun Watson got some extra first-team reps on Saturday in Cleveland after it looked like Shador had kind of taken the lead with Watson, throwing a lot of interceptions. You see Kyler Murray throwing some 11-on-11 interceptions. J.J. McCarthy had a great weekend throwing some red zone TDs. I still think there's going to be something wild that comes out of these. Brissett maybe not having the best camp so far. Does Beck steal that for week 1? Kirk Cousins gets benched for a weekend because he's fighting with Max Crosby. What's going on?
Yeah, and Max saying he got what he got what he got or something
Yeah,
like that.
Okay.
No, I know that. I think this is all just.
We still have no idea what's going on in Atlanta.
I know it's training camp doldrums. I'll just call it here again one more time. Deshaun Watson is going to start for Cleveland. I've always thought that. I have no inside knowledge. I just have knowledge that they have put so much time and capital in a guy.
Patience.
Well, I mean, patience. They've had no choice but to be. I mean, they waited for him to start because of a suspension that they knew was coming when they went ahead and acquired him for all of that draft capital and all of this money that they have paid him for hardly a damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
That with one more year left, they're going to see what there is before they evaluate anybody else, and that includes Shador. Unless Shador is having such a remarkable camp or has the opportunity in preseason to take it, that Monken would just have an issue looking at his team in the face and saying, we're going with Deshaun. I just think there's going to be a thumb on the scale for Deshaun Watson. I think there's going to be a thumb on the scale for the two veterans in Minnesota and Atlanta because they're so damn inexpensive right now. And certainly for the one in Minnesota and Kyler Murray because they let somebody go to see what they have in J.J. McCarthy, and that guy left to win the Super Bowl, which leaves definitely a mark. So I unless, again, Penix and McCarthy in Atlanta and Minnesota have such remarkable training camps and preseasons that both coaches just in their staff meetings just look at each other and say, how can I look at all these other guys in the face and say that we're going with the veteran? And then when you pull the kid and put in the veteran, it's different than pulling the veteran and putting in the kid in terms of what you're trying to salvage from the kid. And the veteran has no actual skin in the game in your franchise or the fan base. It's not like Atlanta fans are just like dying to see what they have in Tua, or, hey, Vikings fans are like, you can't do that to Kyler. He's hardly been there. Mm-hmm. So, again, these are just narratives, I understand, but I'm also trying to look at the reality of the finances and then what's over the steering wheel for other teams to make a decision, certainly in terms of Cleveland. And in Arizona, could Carson Beck start week 1 because the team has just seen so much from him that, like, we might as well see what we have in him? And if it doesn't work out early on and then you go to Brissett and then you make a decision based on next year's draft, I mean, I think that's feasible. Now, that would be one of the unexpecteds. Right. So I'll say this is not an overreaction just because you never know.
Right.
But I do believe I've just mapped everything out for you based on the finances and based on how everything has been played out in the franchises coming into the season. Every coach could clearly make a decision based within the box of now and be able to look the team in the face, players in the face, media in the face, and say, this is now. Forget about what's happened before. Of course, a coach could do that. Certainly in Atlanta, where you're new, you're starting out fresh. Same thing in Arizona. And in Minnesota, you got Kevin O'Connell's coach of the year 1 year removed and has the ability to basically do what he thinks is best, as all coaches do. I understand. But I do believe that's the way it's going to go. What else?
Rich, last thing, and I want to finish with this. A top 5.
Oh.
A top 5 in an overreaction. The top 5 most interesting teams
as
we get set for the preseason to start
all right.
with the 3 preseason games. Number 5, and we just talked a little bit about it. I think number 5 are the Vikings.
Okay.
For all the reasons we talked about with the quarterback situation. Also, they really handled this quarterback thing pretty poorly with the dating back to Sam Darnold, right?
Okay.
So Kevin O'Connell, I want to say mini hot seat heading into the year.
That's an overreaction.
Also, what is going on in Justin Jefferson's mind? We haven't heard from him. We don't know what he thinks about all of this, but he's got to be frustrated with how last season went.
Right.
And the uncertainty heading into this year. So I think Minnesota's number 5.
All right. Plus the NFC North is winnable for them.
NFC North is also winnable and very tough.
Understood.
We expect Detroit to be back,
What else you got?
What we've accustomed.
I'll buy their being interesting.
Okay. Number 4, the San Francisco 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
The Kyle Shanahan accident, we haven't really talked about it, but it's weird. All the information that comes out, it seems like it's something different every day. It's very weird. And so your coach is dealing with that. On top of your big free agent signing is already not practicing. Okay. George Kittle, we don't know his status for week 1. Right. All the substation stuff, not a thing, but the fact that it is a thing. Niners are really interesting. Really tough division. They're clearly 3rd in that spot. Number 3, going to stay out here, Chargers. Okay. This is based on vibes. Obviously, Mike McDaniel is there, and he's going to boost up the offense. But can your starting franchise quarterback really be on the sideline during practice, having his fiance play with his hair and stuff?
Don't do that.
That is really bizarre. And I would.
What if it was the end of practice? What if it was lunch?
I don't know.
Who cares?
Do you see anybody else's girlfriend?
No, because
their
other fiance's girlfriend or wife isn't Madison Beer.
Across the league, there are famous partners across the league. None of them are at practice playing with their quarterback's hair.
Burrow just was picnicking with his girlfriend.
Not in the middle of practice.
He was on the practice field.
I don't know. It's weird.
What do you think? Like they stopped a 7-on-7 drill so he could sit down with Madison Beer and she could run her hand through his hair?
I don't know. It's bizarre.
Come on.
That's weird. Just saying.
That her, now being his fiance makes this interesting to people who don't normally maybe pay attention to the Los Angeles Chargers.
We got the beer effect?
The beer effect? Sure.
Also, all the injuries coming back, how are they going to look? Marion Hampton, does he make the leap, et cetera, et cetera? Chargers are really interesting.
All right, I'll buy the football aspect of it, but the other stuff, come on, man.
It's bizarre.
All right.
Win a playoff game. Then you can do stuff like that.
Okay. All right.
Number 2.
All right.
Number 2 are the New York Football Giants. Here's the thing. I don't know. We didn't talk about it. We didn't play it. But the John Harbaugh speech at the beginning of the thing, it was like he didn't really know what to say. And the guys weren't really feeling the vibes. I am worried, Rich Eisen, that this is giving off Pete Carroll, Las Vegas Raiders head coach with John Harbaugh. I'm worried. You got all the offseason stuff, the backflip, the Jackson Dart, whatever.
So you're thinking the Giants are interesting because John Harbaugh may have lost his fastball.
I think so.
Okay.
And everyone's expecting him to come in and plus them up. They're fighting for the division and maybe back in the playoff mix. And I'm like, could this go the other way?
Okay. That's a new twist on why the Giants are interesting.
Okay. Just saying.
All right. I think that's an overreaction, but I think the Giants are interesting with the Dart, Scattaboo, Tango, and Cash combination. And
yeah, I mean, on the field, if they're all healthy
defensively
and playing smart, like they could be a fun team. But
okay,
I don't know.
Okay, what else?
Let's be careful.
All right.
Last one, the most interesting team of the preseason. I'm going to give you this one. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, and don't say of course, but
of course they are.
Of course, they're the most interesting team. I'm just saying. Look, is Patrick Mahomes going to play in the preseason or not? What is he going to look like? Got to assume he's going to play week 1.
Sure.
They probably should hold him out, but they're going to play him week 1.
They're not going to hold him out.
Travis Kelce now, is this his final year?
Got it.
We don't know anything about that. What is up with Rashee Rice? Because he looks big in the community and not moving that well out there.
That's a problem.
Okay?
Yeah.
That could be a problem. Who is their number 1 receiver? Because Xavier Worthy, I don't think it's him. What's going on there?
Sure.
Again, and all the questions with 15. Andy Reid's now 70. Let's just keep an eye on that as well. I think the Chiefs are one of the most interesting teams.
Well,
number 1.
They're always, because they're the Chiefs, and we're waiting. We're waiting for the Dynasty 2.0. That's what we're waiting for.
Yeah, is that going to happen?
This is what we are waiting for from the Chiefs, because Mahomes' career to this point, at this age, he's already eclipsed Tom Brady in many different areas, statistically, historically, and arguably greatest run of a quarterback in his 20s.
No doubt.
All right. So, but Brady then had another dynasty, 3 out of 5.
Didn't win for 10 years, though.
Correct. And he had a long, but he still went to Super Bowls.
That's true.
It's not like he was never going back to a Super Bowl.
Agree.
So we're waiting to see what it looks like there. But you forgot one team, and that's the Los Angeles Rams. They are 100% number one on the list.
Really?
Chris.
But we've
take a look at their schedule. Hoskins, call it up.
But because this is for the preseason. Top 10 preseason teams.
The Rams are too. We're sitting here waiting for Aaron Donald to make the obvious occur. And once he does, and by the way, people listen to or watch this show days later. I had somebody in Canton say to me, Overreaction Monday gets him through his workday, which is great.
Thanks, buddy.
So Donald may be back by the time people consume this portion.
Sure.
Their first game in Melbourne against your aforementioned fourth most interesting team. Then they have a home opener on a Monday night against your second most interesting team in the Giants. Then you have the Broncos and Philadelphia hosting them weeks 3 and 4. Week 3 is a Sunday nighter on NBC. So their first one is worldwide on Netflix. Their second one is on ESPN. The third one is on NBC. That's 3 nationally televised games just to start. The whole country's going to see them before they visit Philadelphia. And then they have a home Monday nighter against Buffalo. That's their first 5 games. Every game that you see on the schedule for them, including against the Chargers, who are your third most interesting team. Their visit at Washington, who knows what they're going to be. But the bottom line is, if they run through this schedule, every single one of these games, including the Thursday nighter against Kansas City, your most interesting team. Dallas, 2 games against Seattle, visit to Tampa in between them in the second to last game of the season for them. Every game is going to be a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I get it. But
every game is going to be interesting.
This is regular season
of interest.
I'm just talking about, this is August. This is an August interesting
That's
list.
all everybody's talking about is Aaron Donald coming back. We're having fun with it on our show saying, is he back yet?
I get it. But that's not really interesting. We all expect it to happen.
The idea is, who's going to trip up the Rams? Will they go undefeated long? If not, what's wrong with them? What will happen in the postseason? All of it. Every last thing involving them. Everybody's fantasy team is going to have at least one Ram on it if you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
You're going to have 2.
If you're lucky. Yeah, but those are September items.
Okay.
August most interesting teams. Nobody's doing an August interesting list.
And just again,
saying.
Just because Madison Beer is his fiance.
I don't know. Maybe it's because we don't have hair, but like, could you imagine like Sarah just in the middle of the show rubbing my head?
How do you know when
That's
that
bizarre.
happened? You make it seem like, hold on a minute, time out on this 11 on 11. I've got to go sit down with my fiance so she could run her hand through my hair.
Time and place.
I'll be right back,
Time
everybody.
and place.
As if that's the way it went down. You have no idea.
I'm assuming.
And somebody else's wife or fiance may have stopped by to sit down on the turf too. Just nobody's taking video of it because they're not Madison Beer. We've been through this with Taylor Swift.
She was not on the field rubbing Travis Kelce's head in the middle of practice.
I know we know that because
we would have seen it. We would have seen the video.
I got it. All right, Christopher, thank you for the time.
Thank you, Rich Eisen.
All right, that wraps up this edition of Overreaction Monday. We're off and running.
Let's go.
Football is back.
We're back.
Football is back.
We did it.
So is obviously the Rich Eisen Show every day, 12 to 3 Eastern. We did Canton, Ohio as our Friday destination last week. We're back in our Los Angeles studio for the foreseeable future. For Chris, I'm Rich. Thanks for taking in Overreaction Monday, everybody. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single weekday on Disney Plus, the ESPN app, and ESPN Radio. And be sure to now check out RichEisenShop.com to see all of our latest apparel and accessories so you can rep your love of the show every day.